Peeta Mellark is a fictional character from the Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins. He is portrayed by actor Josh Hutcherson in the Hunger Games film series. Peeta is the male tribute representing District 12 in the 74th Annual Hunger Games, alongside female tribute Katniss Everdeen. Together, they defy the rule that the games may only have one victor, unintentionally inciting a rebellion against the authoritarian government of Panem. Appearances: The Hunger Games. Peeta is first introduced at the reaping for the 74th Hunger Games, when he is selected as the male tribute representing District 12 alongside female tribute Katniss Everdeen. Prior to the reaping, Katniss and Peeta had only interacted once, at age 11, when Peeta deliberately burned 2 loaves of bread and took a beating to feed a starving Katniss. Katniss had always felt indebted to him for this kindness, but never worked up the courage to thank him. During an interview preceding the games, Peeta admits on national television to having a long-standing crush on Katniss. She assumes this is merely part of his strategy to win favor from wealthy capital sponsors. Once inside the arena, Peeta allies himself with the career tributes and tricks them into believing he will lead them to Katniss. However, after Katniss knocks down a hive of trackerjackers on her pursuers, she herself is stung with the insect's venom, rendering her disoriented and vulnerable. Peeta urges Katniss to run and stays to fight fellow tribute Cato while she escapes. He survives the encounter with Cato, but suffers a stab wound in his leg. He camouflages himself into the rocks and fauna alongside a riverbank, slowly dying of blood poisoning until Katniss finds him days later. Due to an announcement proclaiming that there can be 2 winners if both originate from the same district, Katniss and Peeta now find themselves allies. Katniss realizes that if they play up the love story, she may gain viewers' affections. Later on, a feast is announced, in which items that each tribute needs will be placed on a table for them to take, organized by district. Peeta strongly suggests that Katniss does not go, as he knows that she will be in danger. She agrees to stay with him, but receives a bottle of sleep syrup from her mentor that allows her to put him into a drug-induced sleep, which she uses as an opportunity to sneak off to the feast. The medicine gifted to them by the capital is strong enough to heal both of their wounds by morning. After killing the final tribute, a career from District 2 named Cato, Katniss and Peeta are the last 3 alive. Instead of being crowned joint victors, an announcement is made revoking the previous revision and allowing for only one victor. Peeta suggests that Katniss go on and kill him to allow herself to return home. Katniss then suggests they commit suicide by consuming deadly berries known as nightlock. Before the 2 are able to get the berries into their mouths, a final announcement is made pleading for the 2 to stop, informing them and the audience that Katniss and Peeta have been named the official winners of the 74th Hunger Games. Later, the 2 learn that President Snow found their actions as an act of rebellion against the Capitol. After their last interview where the 2 continue on the act of being madly in love, Peeta comes to the realization that Katniss had staged her love for him. Catching fire. Peeta and Katniss embark on the Victory Tour, an event strategically timed in between each Hunger Games, where the victors visit the other 11 districts as a reminder about the games and for the capital to reinforce its power over the districts. Peeta and Katniss have barely interacted since the games. Peeta is disappointed with Katniss for faking affection for him, and Katniss is confused about her feelings and is uncomfortable to be with him because of her close friendship with Gale Hawthorne, who also has strong feelings for her. During the Victory Tour, Peeta apologizes for his behavior and jokes that both would be willing to die for each other, but don't know each other's favorite color. Before the Victory Tour, President Snow visits Katniss and tells her he is aware that she was faking the affection towards Peeta, and that her actions in the arena have sparked a rebellion, one that can only be averted if she presents her and Peeta a unregistered trademark-s attempt at joint suicide in the arena as an act of love-crazed teenagers rather than as defiance. Katniss and Peeta think they are going to become mentors for the Quarter Quell, a special Hunger Games that occurs every 25 years and comes with a change in rules, usually to make them more gruesome than the normal games. The new twist for the 75th Games is that the tributes will be chosen from living victors. District 12 has only 3 living victors, Katniss, Peeta, and Haymitch Abernathy. Haymitch is the constantly drunken mentor who won the 50th Hunger Games. It's clear Katniss will be the girl tribute, as she is the only living female District 12 victor. Peeta makes Haymitch promise to work to save Katniss, not him. He also vows that if Haymitch is chosen, he will volunteer in his place. Katniss makes Haymitch promise that if Peeta is the male tribute, she and Haymitch will work together to keep Peeta alive, even at the expense of Katniss's life. It is a torn alliance for Haymitch. When Haymitch is drawn as the male tribute, Peeta automatically volunteers to take his place. Many of the other returning tributes are friends with each other, but Katniss and Peeta have a disadvantage. They have met none of them, as they are the newest victors. Peeta hopes to play on their sympathies to gain protection from others in the arena, and support from sponsors for Katniss. To this end he lies to everybody on national television, saying Katniss and he had secretly got married before the Quell was announced, and that Katniss is pregnant. This shocks both Katniss and the whole of Panem. During the Quell, Peeta comes in contact with a force field and his heart stops. Katniss and Peeta, a unregistered trademark efficient ally, Finnick Odair, succeeds in reviving him with CPR. Finnick Odair is the District 4 male victor tribute and a stunningly good-looking young man. The three soon band together with a few other tributes, Mags from District 4, Beatty and Ares from District 3, and Johanna Mason from District 7. Eventually, they find out that the arena is shaped like a clock, with 12 sections, and each section is triggered at the same times each day. Different hours indicated different tortures such as blood rain, acid fog, killer monkeys, and so on. As they formulate a plan to kill the remaining tributes, Ares is killed and Katniss is attacked by Johanna. However, Katniss is completely unaware that Johanna is just following through with a rebellious plan. Once Katniss regains consciousness, she realizes that Beatty had designed a way to destroy the force field surrounding the arena. She triggers it and destroys the field, setting off a chain of events. A rebel-controlled hovercraft arrives and rescues Katniss, Finnick, and Beatty. However, Peeta, Johanna and Enabaria have been captured by the Capitol. Finnick, Beatty, Haymitch, Johanna and a few other tributes were part of a plan to safely retrieve Katniss and Peeta from the arena with hopes that they would take on roles to start a revolution against the Capitol. Mockingjay. Peeta is captured by the Capitol and is tortured physically, emotionally, and mentally. His feelings and memories are distorted with hallucinogenic trackerjacker venom, a mind control technique. The Capitol uses this method to turn Peeta against Katniss, making him believe that she is not only responsible for the death of his family, friends and the destruction of District 12, but also that she tried to kill him numerous times and that she is not even human, but rather an evil mutt. This leads him to try and strangle Katniss when he is reunited with her in District 13. The doctors of District 13 try to undo his hijacking, but the process is slow and turns his terror into confusion, where he is unable to differentiate what is real and what is not, especially when it came to his relationship with Katniss. When the rest of the victors journey to the Capitol to fight, Peeta is initially kept behind because he is considered too unstable to be sent into combat. However, President Coin changes her mind and sends him not only into combat, but assigns him to Katniss's squadron. Katniss theorizes that Coin has sent Peeta to remove her as an obstacle to Coin's future as president. Despite the fact that the members of the squadron do not trust him, they help with his recovery by creating a game called Real or Not Real, in which Peeta will ask them a question about something he believes may be true and the members will confirm whether they are real or a hijacked memory. The squadron eventually comes to the conclusion that President Coin had deliberately sent Peeta to Katniss' squad in hopes that he will go mad and kill her because Coin sees Katniss as a political rival. Unfortunately, during a surprise attack of pods, Peeta actually does lose his sanity temporarily in the midst of the chaos and tries to kill Katniss once again, but she rolls out of the way of his gun in an attempt to crush her skull. He becomes responsible at least in part for the death of one of their team members, who he accidentally throws into a barbed wire net pod during the attack. The squadron repeatedly debate whether or not they should kill Peeta, and even Peeta himself asks to be killed to stop endangering them, but Katniss refuses to when realizing she cannot bring herself to let him die. She even kisses him for a period of time, which actually makes him stable. Realizing he cannot convince anyone to kill him or leave him to die, Peeta insists on remaining cuffed instead since the pain in his wrists helps him stay focused in reality instead of succumbing to madness. Further on in the capital, the nightmares in Peeta's mind become so intense that he is on the brink of losing his sanity, but Katniss manages to reach him. After the rebels win the war, Katniss is driven to depression and mental instability due to the death of her sister, Prim. Peeta's hijacking is soon mostly recovered by several doctors and he is considered mentally stable and finally back to his former self. Upon returning home, he plants primroses, the flower which Prim was named after, in memory of her. In the epilogue, Katniss and Peeta have 2 children together. It is implied by Katniss that Peeta wanted to have children first and took around 15 years to persuade Katniss to start a family. He still has moments where his hijacking will try to take over again, causing Peeta to clench onto something until the attempt passes. Characterization: Peeta is 16 years old in The Hunger Games and 17 in Catching Fire and Mockingjay. Medium height and stocky, he possesses the same blue eyes and blonde hair typical of District 12's merchant class. Part of Peeta's left leg was amputated following the 74th Hunger Games. He walks with the aid of a prosthetic leg for the rest of his life. Peeta's name, like the more common given name Peeta, is derived from the Greek word iuroi meaning stone, or rock. His name is also a homophone of Peter bread, which is derived from the Greek iuroi, meaning solid. Author Suzanne Collins may have selected this name for Peeta because Katniss associates him with both steadiness and the life-sustaining bread he makes for a living. His hands are as solid and warm as those loaves of bread. Peeta looks at me right in the eye and gives my hand what I think is meant to be a reassuring squeeze. Euro unregistered trademark. I'm glad now I have Peeta to clutch for balance, he is so steady, solid as a rock. I wrap my arms around his neck, feel his arms hesitate before they embrace me. Not as steady as they once were, but still warm and strong. Many of the talents Peeta exhibits in the arena are a byproduct of his work in the family bakery and time spent on the school wrestling team. An accomplished baker and painter, he is also particularly skilled at hand-to-hand combat, camouflage, wielding knives, and starting fires. Peeta also has a remarkable talent for speaking to crowds. Not only is he initially responsible for making the capital crowds fall in love with Katniss, Katniss herself mentions that Peeta would be invaluable to the revolution because of his ability to turn his pain into words that will transform people. Quotes describing Peeta: "What about you? Euro unregistered trademark. They've seen you in the market. You can lift 100-pound bags of flour." I snap at him. Tell him that. Fita Euro unregistered trademark. Not nothing. Katniss Everdeen, The Hunger Games. I may have been a catalyst for rebellion, but a leader should be someone with conviction, and I'm barely a convert myself. Someone with unflinching courage, and I'm still working hard at even finding mine. Someone with clear and persuasive words, and I'm so easily tongue-tied. Words. I think of words and I think of Peeta. How people embrace everything he says. He could move a crowd to action, I bet, if he chose to. Would find the things to say. But I'm sure the idea has never crossed his mind. Katniss Everdeen, Catching Fire. Peeta would be more valuable alive, and tragic, because he will be able to turn his pain into words that will transform people. Katniss Everdeen, Catching Fire. Peeta Euro unregistered trademark. Always with fires, coaxing a blaze out of damp wood. Katniss Everdeen, The Hunger Games. Critical reception. Entertainment Weekly said that Peeta, as well as Gail Hawthorne, were thinly imagined. MTV listed 5 reasons why Peeta is badass, and that Peeta gives Katniss a run for her money in the coolness category. Film. On March 23, 2011, Lionsgate began casting the role of Peeta for the film of The Hunger Games. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Contenders for the role included Josh Hutcherson, Alexander Ludwig, Hunter Parrish, Lucas Till, and Evan Peters. On April 4, 2011, Lionsgate announced that Hutcherson would play the role. References. External links: Peeta Mellark at the Internet Movie Database.